Welcome to She Manifests Wealth Formula podcast. I'm Leonore and a master of subconscious mind, entrepreneur, and a creator of best-rated course on manifestation, wealth formula. With experience coaching 15,000 plus people, I have crafted a 15-minute formula to solve any problem, aiming to transform health, wealth, and relationships. In this podcast, I strive to showcase real-life transformation stories that bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. Let's manifest our lives together because nothing is impossible when we are the conscious creators of our life. Thank you for tuning in today, and let's begin. I am so excited and honored. I will tell you, I got lost in your account in the YouTube videos because the theme that you are teaching to people, it's like, for me, it's like a Mozart, you know what I mean? I'm so loving all this content. So
Oh,
thank you
beautiful.
so much for sharing all the wisdom. And welcome to She Manifests podcast. And
Thank
I'm very
you.
grateful and honored to have you here. So, Marie, we will be talking about manifestation, about abundance. We will be talking about law of attraction, about some failures, right? Because all this journey cannot be just on the top of the hill, right?
No,
And
no, no.
all what I want is us to have just honest conversation so that people can listen, whether it's resonating with them or no, just pure and honest
Good.
conversation. Is that
Yeah,
okay with you?
that's totally okay.
So, Marie, please introduce yourself, who you are, what's your passion, what's your mission?
So I am Marie Diamond. I'm a global renowned Feng Shui master. I'm also known as a master teacher in the hit movie and bestseller The Secret. I'm
Mhm.
a six-time global best-selling author. My latest book is called Feng Shui Your Life. That is the book. And I have more than 1 million online students. And my big vision is to enlighten more than 500 million people. And with The Secret, we definitely have, manifested that number already. I live in Los Angeles. I have a family, married for 34 years with three beautiful children, one grandson. And I lived my dream life.
You live your dream life and you started your journey in Belgium, in Europe.
I
So
did,
we are
yes.
kind of from one side. So tell me, how did probably you didn't burn like a Marie Diamond who is manifesting and attracting. Tell me, how did your journey started?
Well, I was born in a lower middle class family in Belgium in a beautiful city called Bruges. And it was an interesting family in the sense that my father had immigrated for 10 years to Canada and he returned. So we have every summer, we had a lot of Americans and Canadian friends coming over to spend time with us. So as an early age on already, I spoke fluently French and English, which
Mhm.
because I grew up in a very multicultural language. Um, um, I would say family. So that was one good thing about the family. The other part was that it was very difficult childhood. I had an amazing mom, and my father was a very genius man, but he also had post-traumatic war syndrome, so PTSD, and so he was sometimes going in deep depressions and quite physical and emotional abusive. So that was like that part. But I also, at the other side, was very open to the universe, and I saw energy. I believe all children see energy, but I kept seeing it. So it's the channel stayed open for me to see their
What
soul.
time did you, at what age, sorry, I interrupted you. At what age did you discover that you have the connection with the universe?
Well, I think I was about 3 years old when I started seeing things that I remember. I'm sure I had it before, but I remember my first memories where it was really interesting, funny story. But I always saw my mom and my father's chakras align. I saw this connection. And then a woman came into my family home that was like a friend of our parents. And I saw the same reaction, the same chakra connection between her and my father. And I knew as a child that was not okay. Yeah. So he had an affair with this woman,
Oh
right?
my
I
God,
later,
I have a goosebumps.
yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, and so and she gave me a gift, and there was like a plate and a cup about Red Riding Hood and the wolf, and it was like, and she gave that to me, and I took that and I threw this at her head and said, "You are the wolf. You need to leave." Right. And it's like, as a 3-year-old, how to express, I did not know what sex meant. Right. So it's like I couldn't see that, but I knew she was an intruder in my family. And so that's how my mother found out,
Found out.
So, but anyhow, it was really interesting. So, yeah, my parents always were very aware that I would be clairvoyant. They were in contact with a clairvoyant Catholic priest that when I was born had told them that I would be a very clairvoyant child, and that that they need to accept that was a gift of God. So thank God, it was important for me, so that whatever I would say, they had to listen. So I remember, when I saw my grandfather for the last time, I said, he's dying tomorrow. Like I could see the angels already around him. And so it was just like very interesting. I had this seeing, I could see in the other worlds. I could see, spirits in homes. Like I could talk to them. Like it was just like I had that connection. And I thought really everybody had that because nobody really said there was something wrong about it when I told, my parents. So, but at the same time, I just figured out that probably my family was okay with it, but my friends were not. So I never really shared it with friends. So yeah, that's kind of how I grew up as a child. Yeah.
Actually, whenever you said to me that as a kid you had all these visions, and I have heard a lot of times that children who see that, they think that everybody else is seeing that and they are not even speaking about it because it's like normal, blue sky, there is a sun, there is a moon. For you, it was to see auras of the people, right?
Yeah,
So,
the auras, the chakras. I was like, or I would come in somebody's home and I would see the dead grandmother sitting there. It was like, I thought everybody was talking to her. Like, it was like, for me, it was just like part of my life. And it was only when I was like 9 that I really felt that was awkward. It's like I could feel that it was it was really bothering me sometimes. And then I remember asking to God, because I was a very religious and spiritual child. I was asking to God, can you please tell me how to turn this down? I remember that, I wanted to like not see it all the time. Yeah.
and the religion is not really accepting something right that like that, right? It's kind of it's not going hand in hand.
Well, I think it is not, but there are some parts of the Catholic Church that are much more open to it, for sure. And I think my parents were that lucky that they had a priest that was mentoring and guiding them. That was very open to that because he himself had a lot of visions, a lot of mysticism, and so leaders and politicians would come to ask advice to him. So, in the Catholic Church, there's always been mysticy and people that, but, I'm not a saint, right? I'm just a regular child. So it's not like I'm a nun or a priest or something. So, but he acknowledged that for me, and that was always a safe place for me. Yeah.
Exactly, absolutely. And how did you decide to move to America, to United States?
Well, when I was 7, I connected with my spiritual master. And so it's an immortal, so it's what we call an ascended master. And so he came into my life, he appeared and started talking to me and gave me my first meditation. And so he's the one that has always been guiding me over the years. And so I was at a certain moment, because I was already quite famous in Belgium, I had a lot of students at that time. And having that vision of I'm here to enlighten millions of people, I knew Belgium must become too small. So I started going to America, starting seeing how I could, bring some positive
In
impact.
your visions, you started to see it
And
first.
yeah, first in my vision, right? I always
Okay.
see it first in my vision. Then, of course, I create a vision board and I always make sure my home is related with that. So, like, for example, I put symbols of the US. I put like literally a miniature ship of the Santa Maria where Columbus was going to, um, you know, in America, but he didn't visit America himself first. It was the Bahama or the Caribbean. But it was just like I put symbols out around me to like, yeah, I'm going there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started going there in just on holidays, but I started attracting clients and I started teaching. And then one day I woke up and it was like, with a very clear voice of my spiritual teacher, you have to move in 3 weeks to America. So I was in the US. I called my husband and said, start packing. We're moving in 3 weeks. And
What
that's what
did
I
he
did.
say?
Yeah.
Did he
Oh, he
know
was
you
super
were-
happy. He was super
Oh,
happy. Yeah,
finally,
no,
finally, we are going.
finally, because the first time we met each other, that was one of our conversations. He was like, "Oh, I want to live in the US one day." I
Where
said,
is
"Yeah,
he
me
from?
too."
Is he
He
Belgian?
is from Bruges, from the same town, and
Okay, okay,
Belgium.
okay.
So it was like our first conversation was about moving to the US.
Right.
So it was just like when that time finally happened, and that was 10 years later, he was like, "Get going."
I
Right.
I am on it, baby. My luggage is already in the closet.
It is ready, yes. And so we moved, and we did not know how long. We were just moving for 3 months because that was the only visa we got at that time. And then ultimately everything worked out. And in these 3 months, I started having a lot of high-end clients. And so something shifted, and now we prolonged our visa. And then ultimately, we stayed here.
We're gonna go this side, but I want to a little bit go back those moments when you are at home and you start to manifest by, you said, like putting all the symbols, right? So is it working just for you or is it working for everybody? Like what I
So,
see, if you put the symbols, it's kind of giving your subconscious mind the reminder what to focus on. Is it true?
yeah, but what I used is like when I was 15, I had a near-death experience, and I was on the other side when I got my purpose of enlightening more than
You
500 million
explain it.
people.
It's very interesting. 15 you were, and then you were.
Yeah, I was run over by a truck, and they declared me dead. And so, but by coincidence, my mom was not so far from the accident. So she was brought to the ambulance and she asked to revive me, to try again and again. And so, but I actually saw my mom in the ambulance and I saw myself hovering over my body. But then I left, and then I was, on the other side, and I was given, there were like beings of light telling me, you have to go back. It's your time is not there yet, and you have a purpose, and that is what you need to do, making a difference for 500 million people. So I was like, okay, I had no idea what that meant, of course. So I came back,
Fifteen-year-old girl, of course.
15
What
year
is
old. I always say if that would be now, I would start a TikTok account, right? So,
Okay.
but, but you don't know so the first thing that happened is that when I came back, I had a lot of damage on my face because of the accident. And so all my skin was gone.
Mhm.
And so they wanted to do plastic surgery. And I said to my mom, I refuse. You can't do that. And she said, but Marie, you need to really plastic surgery. And I said, no, I told her I'm going to heal myself. But I had no idea, Lynn, what that meant. I mean, I'm a Catholic woman, a Catholic young girl, so we think Jesus heals, or Mary heals, or like you're healing yourself, right? But I started putting my hands on my face, and then I visualized that energy came out of my hands, and like a few weeks later, my skin was restored. And still today, my skin looks much younger than a 60-year-old, and it's because I always say I have a face that is 15 years younger than most people.
So, Marie, honestly, I've healed myself as well because I had in the second, like many times when I gave birth to my second child, my cervix broke and they stitched my cervix to urethra. So, and they had to put the nephrostomy on my kidney so that I don't lose kidney.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I had my cervix while they were stitching it, they put urethra, like the cable that is letting urine go, and they stitched it. And when I went to the doctors and I said, like it was a big problem. Basically, I was in the pain, I had a baby, I was breastfeeding, and I also said, I said I cannot do this anymore. They said you don't have any chance. We are just the doctors and this is all what we can do. And then I was thinking, okay, so if I teach people this, I need to be able to heal myself. And I started visualizing like a small fairy is flying around my body. And I've been studying also NLP. And with a small knife, she's cutting this stitch, and you won't believe 2 months later, when I went to the doctor, he was shocked. He almost started to cry because he said a miracle happened, right? And why I'm sharing this, I just wanted to ask your opinion because there are so many people who are sick with the cancer. They have many problems. And in my country, for instance, you have to be very careful when you speak about it, that you can heal yourself because, they are like, you are wronging people, like you are saying that they don't need to go to the doctor. It's very sensitive topic. My question to you is, do you believe that me and you can only heal ourselves with our hands, with our thoughts, or anybody can do this?
Well, it's a really good question. So, I do believe that all the possibilities of health, if it's both Western medicine or Eastern medicine, they're all created ultimately by the universe, by God, to help humanity, right? And sometimes you need, without the doctor stitching you, you would not have
So,
survived. Right? Let's be honest about that. At that moment, you could not do vibrational healing, as we would call that. Yeah. So energy healing, you could not do that because at that moment, that's what you needed. Yeah. So it's like there are things that, if you have a broken arm, you need to set the arm in a cast and everything is given to us to support us, right? So that's one thing. But I do believe that we all have the ability of vibrational healing. Now, it doesn't mean that's the only thing we need to do, right? So we have so much beautiful modalities. And so I always say, find your balance between what you feel is right for you, right? What is perhaps Western medicine, and perhaps you're adding some Eastern medicine, perhaps I mean, everybody, I believe, has power in their hands. And, there's too many studies about that already in the East that we have energy emanating out of our hand chakras. So perhaps you need that surgery, right? But then on top of it, if you can add that healing energy, it will go faster and easier. And you needed that medicine, but at the same time, they were at the edge of what they could do. Then that extra work, right, that you could do could really make a big difference. So it's all about finding a balance, I think, in what is available for us, right? So that's my answer. So just going back to your question, so after that accident, I asked my spiritual master what I did do wrong because I was really praying, I was manifesting, I was visioning, and he said, "You just have bad feng shui, Marie." And so he told me that the place where my bedroom was like on the north side, and that is for me not good. And that I need to move to the west side of the building because for me, west is very positive for me.
I have your app.
So,
I have
yes.
your. I know what it means.
So yeah. So
By the
based
way,
on your
everybody
birthday,
download Mary Diamond app. It shows you where you are, right?
yeah. So on your birthday, with your birthday and your birth gender, you create an energy profile when you're born, and there are certain wind directions that are strong for you. And you can download that on the free Mary Diamond app. So you go and put in Mary Diamond, get your energy number. And so it tells you which are the direction. West for me is my relationship direction. Now, North for me really creates loneliness. And so I was very lonely in my life. I was bullied at school. And so I moved to the West and had my first boyfriend. I started attracting a lot of friends. Like the bullies stopped bullying me. So there was this shift happening. And then I changed the colors around me. And also at the same time, I started putting things around me that were more aligned with what I want, because I tell people like everything around you is a three-dimensional vision board. And Feng Shui is an energy system from China that kind of understands how the qi, the energy flows in your home. So you can compare a little bit with acupuncture or Tai Chi or Qigong, where you work with the qi, you work with the energy of your body, but Feng Shui works with the energy of your environment. And so I started putting things in order, and literally my life shifted. And that's when I, for the first time, encountered Feng Shui. And I kept practicing this basic principles I knew at that time, because there was just nothing available in my country on that topic until I was 31 and started studying Feng Shui in Malaysia. And ultimately was trained as a classic Feng Shui master. And now I'm teaching this for the last 30 years.
So you have a gift, like you see auras and you see the vibration, and you can, maybe predict. I don't know whether you can predict or no, but you can see more than normal people can see.
Yeah.
And also you are connecting it with the Feng Shui. And my question probably would be whether, again, everybody can use it. Will this system that you have created, will this work for every single person?
It does. It works for every single person. I mean, I have, like I said, more than 1 million online students. And so it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what age you are, what religion you have, because Feng Shui is not a religion. It
Right.
supports the religion, for sure, whatever you believe in. But it is wherever it is. I have people from all races, all backgrounds, all cultures, and they all have results. Because what happens with manifestation, that a lot of people think, I need to manifest with my mind. Yeah. And I need to manifest with taking actions. Now we call that part, and also we need to take action. We need to manifest with good feelings, with gratitude. We call that part the human part of the law of attraction.
Right.
There is a spiritual part, and the spiritual part is our soul destiny. Like we are born all with a purpose. And that is already kind of programmed. Well, perhaps we programmed it ourselves, right? That this is what we want to do. Yeah. So we all come in with that spiritual part of the law of attraction. But there's a last part, and that's your environment. So a lot of people are getting stuck to really go to the next level because they're focusing only on their mind and what they feel and what they're doing. But, the environment where you live, where you sleep, where you work is actually affecting you nonstop, subconsciously. And like you said earlier, if the reminders around you are telling a different story than what you want to focus on, then guess who will win? It will be your environment, because it's bigger than you and it's there constantly. Let's say you want romance and you're like putting all these affirmations out and all this visioning for romance,
Right.
but everything around you tells that you want to be lonely. Every around you, you have images of solitary people, like lonely men, lonely women.
Right.
You subconsciously giving yourself permission that it's okay to be by yourself. And then literally the moment people then change that around them, suddenly the people start coming in. Because what you have visualized, the universe wants to deliver it, but the place where to deliver it is your home.
And
It
it's
can't be delivered.
reminding you all the time, right?
Yeah. It's like
So
the post is blocked, like the message return is blocked.
I was with Vishen Lakiani in one mastermind. So maybe CLO mastermind, I was part of it. And when we were in Dubai, he was explaining us this story like many times, and I got so inspired. So I think he came to you to Monaco, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he
Correct. Yeah.
said, I came to marry Diamond to Monaco. And she says to me, change your freaking wallet. Was it a wallet? I don't remember whether it was a wallet and it was a watch or
Yeah, it was both.
oh,
Yeah.
yes. But
Yeah,
he's like,
because he was
I
talking
didn't
about how he
know it.
wanted
It's
to
so
get,
funny, hilarious.
yeah, because he was like telling, he regularly studies with me and comes over for a day, and I, screen the energy, and we're focusing. And he was like, how do you attract all these billionaire clients? And you live in an area where there's billionaires. Like, how do you do that? Right. And so I said, well, I have also learned it's all about frequency, like where you're located, right? That's the first thing. But also there's certain parts that wealthy people look at. Yeah. And so he said, what? And I said, first of all, your wallet. So show me your wallet. Right. And he has this old wallet. And
Like he
he
says,
paid
I don't care
$300
about
for it.
it.
Like it was like, he said, but I really like my wallet. And I said, sorry, if you bring this wallet out with billionaires and you take your cards out to pay for their dinner, but they don't pay your dinner, you pay their dinner because you
Right,
learn from them. I
right.
said, they will not take you serious. So
Absolutely.
you need to spend you need to get to a high brand store. I said, you have
At
that
least
money, you
how
can pay
much,
for it.
Marie? How much at least would be?
At least a wallet that is $1,000 if you
Okay, I'm
can.
on it. I'm on it. Mine
Yeah,
is
right.
like three
But
or four hundred.
even if it's double of what you have
Right,
paid for it first.
right.
If it's a wallet of $20, go for a wallet of $100. I mean, I'm
Okay.
just like stretch yourself a little bit. Now for him, I wanted him to spend 1,000. And then I said to him, the second thing they look at is your watch. Yeah. So I don't have now a watch on, but normally I have a watch on. And I said, how much did you spend on that watch? Again, a few $100s. And I said, tomorrow you're going to Cartier and get yourself a Cartier watch, right? And I said, you don't have to spend the most expensive, but they need to see that you wear a certain brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to update your wardrobe. I mean, to be honest, look at you. Right. So get your clothes made for you, right? And like you're just up everything. And it doesn't mean that you need to spend so much money. It's all about making sure you look better. Yeah. So we say literally fake it till you make it, right?
Okay.
So it's just like get yourself cleaned up, make sure your hair is okay. You have beautiful makeup, you look beautifully, everything, but also your environment,
Mhm.
needs to be on that level, right? So you need to make sure that it's clean, it's organized. So when you walk into your home, like I say, always think about your home as a palace, right? And I've been in many billionaires' homes, right? I've never seen somebody come in a home like this that they have shoes on the ground or they have Amazon empty boxes there, or you need to kind of come in and there's a beautiful bouquet of flowers. It can be fake flowers that you spent.
Right.
It's
Right.
okay, but something you come in, you're like, wow, it's beautiful. You need to make sure there's a beautiful chandelier. I mean, it doesn't all have to cost a lot, but if you come in, the light doesn't work, what are you saying, right?
Or the
Show
door,
some wealth.
these hangers are not working. One thing that you mentioned before we started to speak about vision, you said that the location, if you want to attract the billionaires, the location is also very important.
Yes. So, but sometimes we don't have that money. I remember I didn't have the money to live in what we call golden areas, right? Where the wealthy people live in your town. But you can already start walking there, right? Start, on a Sunday afternoon, take a stroll in the area where these people are living. It's like I started like this. I went to hotels that were five-star hotels. I would sit in the lobby. I remember I was going to Beverly Hills. I could not afford going to dinner there.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I could afford sitting in the lobby, working on my laptop and having a glass of
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
right.
So there's a frequency. Yeah. So go there as much as you can. And I've seen so many people doing that. And I said, it just being there doesn't cost you anything.
You know,
Right.
Marie, a story. We used to live a year ago. Yes, exactly a year ago. We used to live like I don't know, like 5 kilometers from here. I had a house and it was nice house. But I was always running in this area where we are living right now because the building is lake view and it was like so beautiful. Like I was thinking if there would be one place where I want to live, because there are not so inspiring places as in America, right? There is Hollywood, there is Santa Barbara, which I will ask you also. And I was running here and I was looking at this apartment next to my apartment. I was looking, I would want to live here. I swear to God, that's what I was saying. And what happened last year, January, we manifested that somebody just came. We didn't put actually in listing our house. Somebody put in the mailbox that they want to buy our house. So we called them. We said, okay, come and speak. They offer us price. We are like, no, no, no. We want a little bit higher. They didn't check anything, nothing. They said, okay, no problem. We are buying it. And guess what happened? Like a month later, because in this building, it's almost impossible to find an apartment which is like view because it's all like sold out for Russians and everything. We got Lakeview apartment. It was like so magical. We found firstly one. Then I said, honey, no, we need one more room. And 2 weeks later, this apartment just showed up. I'm like, exactly what you are saying. I was running and imagining, and my husband was doing the same. He was coming with a car, standing in the front of this lake, and he said, I was manifesting like I'm living in this apartment.
Well, I remember for the first time when I was living really in the golden area, um, here in LA, I came like 10 years before and I went to Malibu Beach and I looked up to the hill and I said to my husband, one day I'm going to live there, right? And he was like, oh, let's go and explore it, right? So each time we went to visit Malibu, we would explore that area. And it's in that street that I, 10 years later had a home. Yeah. So I've seen, and this was like, I at that time, when 10 years before, I had no way financially to get to have a house there. It was impossible, right? But it's all about give yourself permission. Yeah. So a lot of people visualize, but they don't give themselves permission to be there,
What
right?
does
It's
it mean,
like,
give permission? How you
well,
can
to
explain?
say yes. I like so many times we have an idea and oh, I could do that, but then immediately the ego is thinking, oh, you can't do that. That's never going to be possible. Just to say, yes, I can. Yes, I'm going to do that. It's just like, yes, I'm open to it. Yes, I'm willing. So just use that word. Yes, yes, one day, right? Yes, I'm going to live there. So just be open. And when people say something, I remember, when I started doing this work and I told my students, one day I'm going to be living in the US. I'm going to have students all over the world. And my students in Belgium said, Marie, put your feet on the ground. That is not going to
Experience.
happen, right? And I was like, yes, it's going to happen. So I could have said, yeah, you're right. But I gave myself permission. Yes, it will happen, right? So by saying that, but not out of arrogance, but out of convictions, really like convictions of
Yes,
like, yes, I can.
gratitude.
Yeah, but I because I know that if I would have said no at that point, if I would say no, you're right, I shut down my permission. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I know the universe always gives me permission to manifest whatever I desire. But you're the universe inside of you, and you need to give yourself permission to manifest it.
So I have a question, my personal question. We are right now living in this Latvia small town. It's all like I have really reached what I've been always willing to, but right now we are understanding, okay, we are speaking with my husband. So this country is called, we want a sunny country. So we
Yeah.
want to save for our kids. We have a lot of requirements, but we don't know what it is. What is that country? Because, like save for kids in America. I love America, but for kids, I'm kind of a little bit suspicious. So me and my husband, we are thinking, we would want to manifest a place, a location, but we don't have specific understanding yet where would that be. So how we can proceed from this place if we don't have the clarity, because the universe likes the clarity, how the universe will deliver, but at the same time, I want to ask for the help to the universe,
Yeah,
help me
yeah.
to understand what's the
Well,
next step for us.
one of the things you can do is based on your compass direction. So, I don't know what's your energy number.
It was, I think, 7. No, hold on a second. I have it. I already forgot. Jeez. It was, if I'm not mistaken, 4. Mm.
Okay, so you're the manager, yeah? So when it's 4, then south and southeast is very strong for you,
Okay.
right? So north is strong, so you're living in a northern country. That's your success
No,
energy.
7, my dear. 7. I was
Okay,
right.
so
7.
it's northwest. Okay, so
Northwest.
northwest. So from the center of you're like north, yeah. So northwest is like from the center of Europe. So the center of Europe is like considered Austria, Switzerland. Yeah.
Cold.
Okay.
I don't like cold.
No, no, I don't. I'm saying like from the map, right?
Okay,
You
okay.
like more northwest area. So for you, strong for you is southwest. And you were talking to me, and I was like thinking about Portugal for you. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We were
So Portugal.
considering. Yes.
So Portugal, because that's the most southwest
Mm-hmm.
of Europe. Yeah. So it's still a European country. So that's, sometimes also easy and accessible for you. Could be also Spain. So Spain, Portugal would be better, but it can also be one of the islands around Spain, like Malaga or Ibiza. So that area is actually for you the strongest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I would go for direction that I would not go to the southeast. So southeast would be like literally even going Dubai. That's not actually a really good direction for you, right?
We actually have business in Dubai. We just met with Marisa Pierre. We spent 2
Yeah.
days
That
together.
doesn't mean that you live there,
Okay. Okay. For
right?
business. It's
For
not good
business,
for
that's
us.
okay. It's about living,
It's not
right?
good. Yes.
I don't know your husband's number, right? So you need to look at from you. I look just
Happy wife, happy husband, happy
yeah.
wife and happy life. So my husband is living by this principle.
Okay. He's a smart man.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So, but that's how you can look at it. But of course, you also can just look at where do you feel good.
Mhm,
Yeah. So
mhm.
you can follow feng shui. That could be one of the principles you're using. I use that all the time. So for me, southwest is my success direction. So living in Los Angeles, like from Santa Barbara to Los Angeles, San Diego, that's the most southwest on the map of the US. And I live on the West Coast because West is a better direction
Right,
than East Coast for me. Yeah.
right.
So I made that decision. I always go West. Yeah.
Mm.
And I always go Southwest.
So if
So
people want, they download your app,
yeah,
Marie Diamond, and there is, if you put all the data, you will
yeah.
see your number and everything is so clearly explained like a magic. And plus you are getting everyday reminder to go in the app and see, right? It's
Correct. Yeah.
very, very
And
valuable.
and the book Feng Shui Your Life is helping you to go with the app through your whole house to activate it.
I'm
Yeah.
getting
So
this book already right
yeah.
after our call.
Yeah, and it's also on Kindle, it's also on Audible, so you can listen to it and so on. But this is like a beginner's guide to use your home as for attracting the life you desire. So this is the work that I do with my high-end clients. This is the work I teach to really bring law of attraction and your home together. Because
Amazing.
remember, your home is subconsciously affecting you all the time. It can support you or it can block you.
Absolutely. Marie, I cannot skip this question, but you've been in The Secrets. Everybody knows the movie. I know probably you get asked all the time, but please share with my audience how you manifested because you also, I know there's a long story. I've listened it, but maybe just, I really want that you inspire people to think above their existing situation, but because the problem, I'm also working with the thousands of people, and I have noticed that the challenge is that they're thinking from the place where they are, not from the place where they want to be. But you have
Yes.
this certain dedication, this belief. Even people, despite that people say, come down, go on the ground, you're still, no, I'm gonna live in America, no, this is like, there is no doubt. But please share how people share your story about the secrets, and how was it actually, and how you can manifest something like that, which is above the imagination.
Well, going back to Belgium, right? I became an international criminal lawyer in Belgium.
Oh.
And so this is a whole other field, right? And I just when I became then a spiritual teacher and became a Feng Shui master, and I wanted to really reach millions of people, um, as I moved to America, I was like very clear on like I need to now really focus on these millions of people.
Mhm.
Now, perhaps 200 people knew about me in America, so there was just nothing, right, at that point.
Mhm.
So I made a vision board, and it's one of the things, if you have a vision board or you have a journal or you have a book with your goals, put it in your success direction. So again, get my app and focus on that.
So my
So
success direction was the one you explained me, right?
northwest for you. For me, it's southwest. Somebody else can be east.
Okay.
So I
Yes.
put my vision board up, and I took a yellow post-it note and I put it on my vision board, and I put on it, I'm going to be in a movie seen by millions of people that will transform the world. And I put it out there, and you also have to think, words are one thing, that's like working with your analytical mind, but you also have to work with the symbolic part. That's your creative part.
Okay.
So making a vision board is already very creative. So that's a good thing. But I go a little bit further. So I looked for a symbol that would represent a movie. And so, I mean, you think immediately about an Oscar statue, right? So I got myself an Oscar statue, put the name on Marie Diamond, and I thought like I need a few years, and it was like 2005. So I put it in my success direction. And every day, and that's one of the key points, because a lot of people, once they create their goals, once they create their journal, they kind of forget about it.
Put in
You
the
have
shelf, it's somewhere there, right?
somewhere there.
Yes.
So when I have a vision board, I look every day on my vision board. I bless my vision board. I read my goals, or I read my goals in my journal. So you have to remind yourself constantly about it. Yeah. So once is not enough. So, and I would look at my Oscar and like, hey, Oscar, like, and I would like go over his little head, like playful, just joyful, playful, right? And so within a month, I got my first Oscar winning client to help. And then I also got my first self-help author, that was Marcy Shimoff, who's also in The Secret. And I helped her out, with what was going on in her life. And she introduced me to people like Dr. John Gray, Marion Williamson, Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield, I was in his home and he was stuck. Things were not going well for him. So I actually was yesterday still with him. We had a retreat together, and we had really a lot of fun. And so the whole point was that I changed things around for him in his office, and then things started opening up for him. So he asked me to be part of a transformational leadership council with like all the top authors of America. And I said to him, but Jack, I am a nobody right now. And he said, famous words, one day you'll be as famous as everybody else.
How did he know that?
His intuition,
So you
right?
think it was his intuition or just belief in you?
I don't know, either or, it doesn't matter. But what does matter? I said, yes, you're right. I give myself permission to be as famous as everybody else, because I had a negative thought. I cannot be as famous as everybody else. So I went to that meeting, and that is when the third time when we came together, Rhonda Byrne was filming some of the people in this organization, and she asked me to also to be filmed. So I did this kind of cool thing, and she loved it. She put it in a movie. And the great thing is, I was the only European in the movie. Yeah, I was the most unknown person in the movie, right? So at that time, I was just like all these famous people, but I was in it. Because 6 months later, they asked me, Marie, when they saw the movie, people were asking, like, why is Marie in this movie? like she's not known, right?
She
And they
manifest.
told me, and I said, well, it was on my vision board.
Amazing.
Was it on yours? Yeah.
So what was happening? Firstly, you used Feng Shui principles,
Yeah.
plus you had the symbols, right? You put it in the direction where is your success direction. So you use the principles. I mean, like some Oscar, which is reminding you. Did you visualize? Did you do anything extra, or you just like greeted, or just looked at
Well, each time when I looked at it, I visualized it. Yeah,
okay.
even if it's just a few seconds a day, right? It's not constantly, but I do believe a lot of people do sometimes 2 hours visualizations, but I do believe every day, even if it's a short time, yeah, thinking about it, connecting with it, being grateful for it. It doesn't have to be long, but it's the regularity, the discipline you have, and doing it over a long time, like you were running around in that area, and every time if you were running through it, you were thinking about it, you were visualizing it. So it's not that you were doing that hours a day, right? It's just regular energy, right? So that's what I did. And so now I have more than 20 Oscar winning clients. I'm one of the best-selling authors
Absolutely.
that, that were in the room, right? And now I'm as famous as them, and some of cases even more famous. So, but I have understood also that fame, and for me, fame is not something I want for my ego. Fame is what, when my spiritual master said, Marie, if you want to reach millions of people, you have to accept that you have to be visible. And when you're visible, you need to accept that you're famous. Yeah. He said it's all about what you do with the fame, and use the fame to impact as much people as possible. So I have learned fame is part of what I need to do. It's not what I want to do, but it's what I need to do
Also,
in order
because
to
the mission is above all this, your desires.
correct.
How do
Yes.
you deal with haters, with bad comments? And I'm sure you have them because you
Actually,
know.
not that much, to be
No?
honest.
Oh, you manifested it. Tell me.
Well, I'm just like, a lot of people sometimes they say, well, I have a lot of online courses on mariediamond.com. And a lot of people are saying, well, I have 20% refunds or 15% or if it's like once in a month we have a refund asked, we're already super surprised. It's just because people know it works. Yeah. And so I give away a lot for free. I mean, the app is for free, right? If you want to upgrade and get more information, but the basic information you need to do the feng shui is for free. So that's always stays like this, right? So I have so much on YouTube. I have my podcast. There's every 2 days a new amazing video on Instagram, Marie Diamond Official, that people save, and they really get all this information. So for me, I'm so generous that people are like, and if then they say something, perhaps this is nonsense, then so many students react to it and they're like, but it worked for me, right? So why don't you give it a try? So I'm not saying to me you have to, I'm just saying people give it a try. Like, I mean, what is wrong by hanging a different picture and then see how you feel, right? It's just like, it's not dogma, right? I'm not a guru. I'm just telling my story with a lot of joy and fun. And I know it works. It worked for me. It worked for millions of people. But it's just like, I don't really have so much bad comments, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure about it. And your energy is so light and it's beautiful. So you're giving a lot of contribution to the world. And if there is something that you would say, do not do this, like something that you would s- don't do this to
Yeah.
anybody who wants to manifest, what would be that one thing?
Well, that one thing would be, people position themselves wrong in a space. So the first thing I would say to people, make sure you never sit with your back to the door of the room that you're in. So if that's in your office, if that's in a bedroom, if it's a dining room or a family room, or any meeting you have with clients, or even hanging out with friends, never turn your back to the incoming energy. So you need to set
So if
yourself
my
up.
door is there, then I cannot sit to my door.
Yes. So what happens when you do that? You're actually saying to the door is where the chi, the energy comes in. It's actually where the universe comes in. So if you're with your back to the door, you said, universe, I am not interested in what you offer me, what you bring to me. So always set yourself up like I'm sitting here, I see the door. So if somebody comes in, I see who's coming in. I say, Marie, you're online. Doesn't matter. It's the energy flow. People come through the door. If you look, for example, at a window and the door is behind, you can say, well, I can see the people on the street. The people on the street are not coming through the window. If they would come to you, they will use your door. Yeah. So that's the first thing I would always suggest. And people just by this little principle, yeah, what shifts is that energetically, and we have done testing on that with encephalograms, is that when you're looking at the door, within a few seconds, your brain waves will go into alpha brainwave. When you're in alpha brainwave, you're focused on the future, you're creative, you're optimistic, you concentrate, you're focused. And your energy goes to your frontal cortex, where it's like the energy can expand. When you put your back to the door, within a few seconds, your brain will go into beta brainwaves. That means you will not be concentrated, you will focus on the past, you will worry, you will be more in fear, and the energy goes to your reptilian brain. And so your energy is to the past. So if you want to manifest, but you went back to the door, you actually are focusing on the past. So how can you manifest? The manifestation is always in the future. Yeah.
My table is right in the front of window because there is a lake view and I'm like kind of enjoying, but my door is behind.
Yeah. So it always means that you have to do extra effort. Yeah.
Right.
So you can set yourself up. I mean, I have a beautiful view on the side because to be honest, I don't need to see that all the time. It needs to be in my fields, but
Yeah.
I don't need to look at it. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to be the best, the queen, the king, the president, the champion, you need to put yourself. That's the first thing I always do with my high-end clients when they come to me like, oh, I got a new home, and since I'm in my new home, I don't get to number one with my on the charts. I don't get to the championship. I don't get my Olympic medals, right? All the things that athletes are, musicians, actresses, and so on. So I put them always in that position, and they need to always, any meeting they go into, they need to make sure they see the door. Now, not see the door on the side, but see the door in your peripheral view. So it's like 45 degrees to the left, 45 degrees to the right. This is what you see. This is how our brain works. The moment we have to move our head, we're not in a power position anymore. So think about for example, the King of England, right? Or I don't know, in your country, if a president or a queen or a king, they're sitting on the throne, right? They see the people coming to them. They will never sit with their back to the people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not in
They
communication.
know Feng Shui. They know already. They have their people who are explaining them how to do that, and probably already.
But also sometimes it's instinctively. I had so many successful people I've been to, and literally they always put their desk in a good position because they want to feel in control. And it's like it's part of our, I would say our memory of our primitive energy, right? So when we were, a primitive man and woman, right, we would be in a cave. Would we ever sit with our back to the opening of the cave? Because
No,
that's where the wild animals comes in. We
exactly.
would always make sure we see the opening because we need to see the danger. But it's not just danger. We need to see the gifts that the universe are bringing us. So right now, just by changing that around, so that's the first thing. Second thing, and I just want to add to it, that's why you have the app. If you then on top of it can, if you see the app, right? So if there are 4 directions that are indicated for you and there are 4 that are empty.
So
If on top of
where
it,
am I going?
you
So
look to the diamond compass.
compass. This one, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So if you hold that in front of you, yeah,
Mhm.
and when you're speaking, you need to be able to look at the direction that is indicated for you. Like I'm focusing on my wisdom direction right here because that's the only way I can set it up to see the door. Okay.
Okay.
So as I'm doing that, you need to see the door and you need to face a good direction. Yeah. When
Okay.
you do that, you're always in alpha brainwaves. You will always be successful and you will get more money into your
So if
life.
I see this gap, the yellow part, it means there is nothing.
There's nothing.
Need to change to what I want, and if this
Yeah.
is success, then I need to go there. I
Yeah.
see. I
Okay.
have one
So,
more. Okay.
yes. So that's all explained also in the book Feng Shui Your Life.
Amazing, amazing information. I mean, Marie, I think people will go over the roof from this information. So another thing, last thing, probably I want to ask you. We know that money is not just coming and people are not handing us some money, right? It's coming through the idea that you materialize that, and then you start to attract money. That's what
Correct.
you need. Like God gives you the energy, you start to do, you materialize this idea, and then you get rewarded. And I see you also have a very creative ideas, like you have an app, you have this and that and that. How do you open up the space for your creative ideas? And maybe there is some tricks or tips that you would like to share.
Yeah, and that's a very beautiful question. So I always start with meditation. Yeah, I have my own meditation practices that I also share. It's also on the app. There's a meditation I have taught everybody a 5-minute meditation. But very important when you write your goals, when you want to receive, always look at a good direction for you. Yeah. So because your brain is much more open. And so I take time, and that's something that a lot of busy people don't do. I take time. And sometimes for me, as I travel a lot, taking time is like when I'm in the airplane, right? So I always have my book with me. It's like I'm not connected with the earth, right? I'm totally in the heaven energy, right? And I write down, but it can also be, if you don't travel, go to the highest place in your city. Yeah. So
Mm.
it could be going to a hill, go to a mountain, go away from where the busyness of life is. Yeah. If you don't have hills or a mountain, go to a park, go to a place of silence, because it's only in these places that we can receive the ideas that we literally are open. So if there's too much business, don't take your phone with you. Just take time for you. Silence, but also the location, a place where you feel you're so inspired. I mean, I have people that love going to their local zoo, right? Or their local aquarium, where there's like just silence and they just it doesn't matter where it is for you. I love mountains, I love flying, I love going to the beach, right? It's just like find your space.
Yours.
Yeah. And that is very important. And then take a notepad and just, I always ask universe, I'm sure you have been giving me ideas, but I was not listening because I was so busy, right? Doing interviews or consulting people or whatever, taking care of my family. Now I have time to listen and I give permission to receive. And then I start writing and I'm like, oh my God, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And then, all the things I've created, I have a lot of online courses, the app, the whole design of the app, I downloaded it. Yeah. So people are asking, so who did create this app? I said, I received it. I just really received it. Of course, then I still have to go to someone to make it because that's not my forte, right? I can't do that. But the same for a book, the same for anything. I listen. And that's very important. You need to learn to listen, but you need to be in a place where you can listen. Yeah.
The silence.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's very hard to be in the silence. Marie, it is such an honor. I want to respect your time. Um, maybe we can take one selfie if it is okay
Oh,
with
I
you.
love that. I'll do the same.
Okay, then we will all do this. And one video also. Hold on a second. Oh, my kids were taking, and one video. So we are here with Marie Diamond. She shared amazing, amazing, and very valuable information. So stay tuned because soon it's going to blow your mind. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you. And
You're so welcome, Lynn. And I'm so happy that you got inspired by Vishen Lakiani, who's of course one of my clients, and also I have wonderful courses on Mind Valley.
Excellent.
And so thank you for taking your time, and thank you for what you do in the world to change humanity.
Thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to meet one day because, you know, we are on the same mission. And so people can check your book. They can go and find you on your Instagram.
Yeah, Mary Diamond Official.
Yes.
And of course, there's podcast, there's YouTube channel, there's TikTok. I mean, there's a lot of
She's
information out
everywhere,
there.
basically.
It's everywhere, yes.
She's on fire on the mission. Thank you so much, Marie. Really, it was such an honor, and I'm grateful for the information you shared. So it made me to think about a lot of things in my life as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Lynn, and good luck with everything.
Good luck. Bye, Marie. Marie, bye.